Okay. Now, I don't know if you missed it, but if you did, you're living under a rock. Money in the Bank 2024 was last night. And well, I don't know how to feel about it. Because on one hand, all these matches were good. Let's not, don't get me wrong or anything. I don't think there was a bad match on this show. The men's was good. It was fine. It wasn't ideal, but I still think there were a lot of fun spots in it. It was good. Sami Zayn versus Breaker, they would kind of put on a banger until the ending, in my opinion. So there's that. Priest versus Rollins, another great match, also kind of ruined by a wacky ending and one wacky spot, which I don't really know if it count as an ending or not. You know what I'm talking about. Women's Money in the Bank was really fun. That was probably match of the night, easily. And then the Bloodline tag match, that was fun as well. So I think overall, Money in the Bank was a fun show for match quality. But then it just came to the ending to some of these matches that didn't really make sense. And that's what I'm here to talk about. Did the correct people win? I don't think so. Now, let's start off with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. You had Andrade. You had Carmelo Hayes. You had Chad Gable. You had Drew McIntyre. And you had Jey Uso. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Andrade should have won. We can X him out immediately. But then everyone, quickly, that's just because, he hasn't really been built up. All he's done is won the Speed title. And he had a very tiny feud with, Legado, kind of, if you even count that as a feud. I don't really think it is. That was more of, an intermixed storyline. Anyway, Andrade, he doesn't have the aura to win Money in the Bank, you know? Chad Gable, Jey Uso. Two guys you easily could have given Money in the Bank to. Two guys you could easily build up as a star right now. I mean, they're low-key already hitting star status. Jey Uso is the most over face on Raw. Chad Gable, meanwhile, he's approaching top heel level. He's getting the "you suck" chance in shades of Kurt Angle. Chad Gable, you could have easily given him this contract. I would have had the Wyatt Six get involved, but they didn't. And then Jey Uso, you could have easily given him this. The only thing about Jey Uso is I don't know if I can see him as a world champion yet. But at the same time, you still have a year to build that up. And you could have given it to him. Because as I said, he's the most over guy on Raw right now. And then you also have Carmelo Hayes. Personally, I would have given the briefcase to him. Because he's been, on the main roster for under a year. And he's still amazing. He hasn't really had a bad loss. He's lost to a bunch of roll-ups, which still isn't great. As I said, he hasn't really been built up as anything either, but you know he's talented, you know he has a good character, you know he has charisma. He's another guy you could have given this briefcase to try and establish a future star. And what do? You give it to Drew McIntyre, a guy who's already been established as a star, a guy who already has a big-time feud right now. And you use this briefcase to forward that feud, but at the same time, it's just a waste of a briefcase. You have him cash it in this night, trying to beat Seth and Priest. And what happens? He loses. Dang near immediately. I guess, they gave it some time in there to let it play out. But still, it just doesn't make sense why you give Drew McIntyre this briefcase. I get it. It's to further this CM Punk storyline. But what was the point? You could have done this another way, man. You could have had, McIntyre be so close to winning and then Punk gets involved. But no, you have McIntyre immediately use it, and Punk immediately get involved. And I get it, you want to do Punk versus McIntyre at SummerSlam. So why even give him the briefcase? As I said, already a top guy and a top guy feud. You could have done something for someone else in this match. You could have given anyone else in this match this life-changing opportunity of Money in the Bank. No one else in this match has won a world title, right? Yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uso, Gable, McIntyre, Hayes, Andrade. I'm missing somebody. But they probably didn't win the world title either. Now I gotta look this up. But, again, it just doesn't make sense why you would give him this briefcase just to waste it. Again, as I said, you could have made someone a star. Like when they made Dean Ambrose or Seth Rollins a star. Granted, they were already basically stars before they won that briefcase, but then that gave them their first world title, and that was this big opportunity, this huge moment for these guys. You could have had one of these other participants get a huge moment out of this. Oh my god, LA Knight. How did I forget LA Knight? Another man you could have made a huge star out of this. He was in the Money in the Bank last year, and everyone thought he was going to win. Sadly, he didn't. But again, this is another guy who's very over, basically a top star in the company right now. Granted, he's probably going to fight Logan Paul at SummerSlam and win the United States title. That's cool. But why, like, it just doesn't make sense to me, man. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. I just don't see why McIntyre was given this. And yeah, that's what I got for that. Like, that's just crazy to me. Now moving on. Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. You have built up Braun Breaker as this force to be reckoned with. This machine. This beast. Like, you have built this man up as literally like a battering ram. And he loses after one haluva kick? I can understand Sami winning. To an extent. But you can't have him win after one haluva kick. And then there was like a backstage thing afterwards where Sami was saying how Braun Breaker must have underestimated him. That's some crap, man. And he even addressed how people like thought that he shouldn't have won. And it's like, I don't know what to say. Because you're right. He shouldn't have won. In my opinion, I don't think he should have. Because you have Braun Breaker, this guy you've built up as a star week after week after week, saying he can't lose. Saying he can't lose. And what's he do? Lose after one haluva kick, man. It just doesn't make sense. I just don't get it. Because it's like, where do you go from here with Braun Breaker now? You just made him lose. You made him look like a loser. A loser. Was it still a good match? Yeah. I thought it was fine. I thought it was fire, to be honest. But, it like, you just can't have it fall off like that with that crappy ending, man. There's so much more you could have done. Like, at least have Breaker get close to winning, you know? Like, have him, like, hit his finisher a couple times. And sure, maybe Sami kicks out. Fine. And then have Sami hit, like, 3 haluva kicks to win. Not just one. Bro, the haluva kick isn't this, like, bomb or some shit. Like, man, it's just so stupid how they had him win that. Like, oh my god, that's just upsetting to me. Again, it's just another decision I don't think made sense. And now you have Damian Priest being Seth Rollins. I think that's fine. The main thing here to address is that botched kick out. I think the whole point, well, the speculation I saw was that Drew McIntyre's music was supposed to hit there, and then that kind of stops the pin, I guess. Or that would have stopped Seth. So, I guess that's no one's fault, really. It was just mistiming, miscommunication, probably. But still, man, that just didn't work either. They have to do something different. Like, I don't know. And then, as I said earlier, McIntyre cashed in here, and then CM Punk cost him, and it was stupid. God. I will say, I'm interested to see where this McIntyre story is going to go on Raw. But at the same time, you didn't have to waste a Money in the Bank briefcase over this, man. Like, it didn't make sense. Like, I don't know. And then, in the last 2 matches, Tiffany Stratton won. That's perfect. Beautiful match. There were some botches, but, like, outside the botches, that was epic. So there's that. Michael Cole and Graves even gave him a standing ovation. But yeah, after that, it was the Bloodline tag match. Tonga Loa botched a low blow. But it was still a great match. Jago Fatu looked strong. So Sikoa looked strong. Everyone looked strong. So, I rate it. That's all I got, though, because I don't see why you make that match the main event. If anything, you make the women's ladder match the main event. Like, why are we making the Bloodline versus Cody, Orton, and Kevin the main event? I get it, maybe, because it's your top stars. You might want to save them for last, because it's Cody Rhodes. It's Randy Orton. 2 top stars in this company. But, like, man, people would have stayed for a ladder match. Especially the women. Actually, people would have stayed for a ladder match, though. They would have stayed. But it just doesn't make sense to me. Why that match goes on last and there's no big surprise. People are like, oh, there should be a big surprise. Like Jimmy Uso. Or Roman Reigns. And, well, they both weren't there. Also, Triple H said there were going to be surprises on this show. What surprises did we get? Can someone let me know? We got McIntyre cashing in. I guess that's a surprise. And Punk. I guess Punk's the surprise. But besides that, what else was there? It looks like we're getting a Trish Stratus Tiffany Stratton feud. the character they built off of the character inspiration right there. Like, that's crazy. Trish Stratus, Tiffany Stratton. I can click till now. That's actually kind of crazy. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is, McIntyre shouldn't have won. Sammy shouldn't have won. And if he did, he should have won differently. And yeah, that's basically the main message here. It just didn't make sense. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Money in the Bank 2024. Thank you all for watching. Probably get an NXT Heatwave reaction out of me, depending on if it's some dog crap booking like this. But yeah, that's it from me. Peace.